and then do nothing, buy and hold. If at all you have to make changes, you can make only the changes that the Bombay Stock Exchange itself makes in the index. That would be once or twice, once in 1 or 2 years. Very rare, very small churning. That too in the same proportion as the weightage to the index. Now I'm going off to a faraway country like Canada, let's say. I will return to India during this period of 25 years only 7 times, at equal intervals. So 25 years divided by 7 times, once in about 3.5 years or so. Now during this period when I return, every 3.5 years, I want to see a graph like this, but not daily price movements. I want to see a straight line. For example, if my first return is around this time, I want to see one line here, that's all, just one line. Next, after another 3.5 years, once again, just one line. That's all I want to see, once in 3.5 years. How is my investment progressing? Same chart, viewed once in 3.5 years, looks like this. If I stop my presentation here today, and if I've only conveyed this one idea to you, you will be excellent stock market investors. A stock is not a ticker symbol flashing on the edge of your TV screen. I always wish investors had 2 spectacles. When they get into the stock market, they wear this pair of spectacles. Otherwise, they can wear anything, including this. Once again, the time horizon. Of course, this is a 3.5-year time horizon, but makes a huge difference. But we are talking about a 5-year time horizon for equity. Meg Green, a certified financial planner, says this beautifully. Adding time to investing is like adding fertilizer to a garden. It makes everything grow. So the second point I'm making this morning is respect the time horizon. Asset allocation. Everybody talks about asset allocation. Very few people know what it is. It is the highest form of something called diversification. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. But when you take it to a logical extreme, to a very high quality plateau, diversification becomes asset allocation. John Templeton says this: the only investors who shouldn't diversify are those who are right 100% of the time. So if you are one of those fortunate few, you need not diversify. Warren Buffett himself has made mistakes. Salomon Brothers and Washington Post are 2 investments that went very badly wrong, but he had certain resources to rectify those mistakes. I'll not go into that. So even Warren Buffett is not perfect. So diversification is something that every investor must attempt. Jason Zweig, again, even more powerful language. To keep investing from decaying into gambling, you must diversify. A very powerful statement if you think about this. What Jason Zweig is saying is, if you do not diversify, you are a speculator. Straight. That's the import of this statement. You're not an investor at all. Decaying, a very powerful word there. If you want to make investment rot, the byproduct of that rot or that rotting process is speculation. I made this point already, that asset allocation is the highest form of diversification. Let me make asset allocation simple. I'll give it to you in 2 sentences. When we look at our financial lives, you will see that we have short-term needs and long-term needs. Fortunately for us, the financial services industry provides us with short-term investment avenues and long-term investment avenues. Once again, we return to the time horizon. I had a client who phoned me one day. I have about 10 lakhs of rupees or so. I want to buy a Mahindra Scorpio. But this is in about 3 months' time. Until then, the money is ready. What stocks should I invest in? I told him, please put it in either a 3-month bank fixed deposit or a short-term floating rate fund or a liquid fund. Please do not put it in the stock market. Because for 3 months, if you're going to invest in the stock market, at the end of it, you may be buying a Maruti 800, not a Scorpio. This kind of disregard for the time horizon is a recurring theme we see in investor behavior as we go along. If a child is born into a family, I've had people, I got a child, I'm already now thinking when this child is 17 or 18 years, I need to provide for costly higher education. 17 or 18-year time horizon. You want to put it in equity? You want to put it in real estate? Go ahead. You're meeting the time horizons. You'll have a very, very large sum of money. I tell such people, not only can you boldly go ahead with those kind of investments, you can get more children also, because by the time your 17 or 18 years come, you will have the resources to take care of more than one child's education in 17 or 18 years. But supposing the parent is asking me, my child has just finished the 10th standard exam, SSLC or whatever we call it, and now I want to keep some money for the child after PUC. No stock market, no real estate. Money should be safe. Safety is first there, because you are not adhering to the time horizon. What are the investment options that ordinary, normal people like you and me need? Professor Burton Malkiel, who very briefly also flashed on the screen earlier, gives you a very simple 4 asset classes that you need. And those asset classes are cash, bonds, common stocks, and real estate. This is all we need, nothing else. No normal person, even a so-called high net worth individual, does not need anything else. By cash, I don't mean currency. I would mean money in very short term investments, like even something better than a savings account, like a liquid fund perhaps, like a flexi deposit. Bonds, little intermediate term or long term, small savings, bank fixed deposits, government bonds. A lot of things would come under this general categorization of bonds. Then of course equity and real estate. These are the only 4 asset classes that anyone needs. Let us understand this concept called the investment tripod. We have a camera there, it's on a tripod, 3 legs. Same thing with investment. What is this investment tripod? Investment can be for 3 reasons: to park funds, to earn regular returns, and to grow your assets. These are the 3 reasons why we would be mainly investing. Let's briefly look at them. When we talk about parking funds, we talk about 2 aspects of parking funds. One is called pure parking, the other is called emergency funding. What is pure parking? What is emergency funding? In financial planning, there is a concept called emergency funding. You must keep some money aside to meet emergencies. There are various thumb rules also to tell you how much you need to park. None of those thumb rules are correct, because each emergency is probably unique. But I come from a very conservative school of investment advisors, and for Indian conditions, I would not advise anything less than 1 year's normal living expenses. So if your monthly expenses are 30,000 rupees, 30 into 12, 3.6, always round off to the next highest 1 lakh. 4 lakhs would be what you need in an emergency fund. There would be people who would not agree with me. They say 3 months is enough. They say 6 months is enough. Each one has their opinion. I stand by mine, because I saw that this was very well proved in the recent global financial crisis we had, when people started losing jobs. The people who had a 1 year